Hey guys, how you doing? Rick Jenkins, the Freedom Group here with another Spot On restaurant tutorial. I've been asked by a few folks just a good task for owners, managers to be able to know how to do, because if you don't do it every day, you may forget, is to how to add users to your system. So whether you have a new employee that starts, or even if you have an existing employee, you need to go make changes. You need to change their job position, change their swipe code to be able to log in with a swipe card, change their login code, or if you need to change their pay rate, whatever the case may be. And so with this, I guess first thing we want to do is look up here at job positions. So we click on job positions. You see we have several created here, each with different permissions. Like you see a busser right here is time clock only. So the only thing they can do is use the system as a time clock. So they can clock in, they can clock out. Whereas we come down here to, let's say, a bartender, you're going to notice they have a lot more permissions. A lot of permissions here. We're not going to go through all the permissions one by one. I was just going to scroll down to give you an idea. Do have a lot of permissions, cash management permissions, whether they can issue discounts, gift loyalty permissions, order management permissions, right on down to what payment types they can accept, and personnel type of permissions that they could have. So can really drill down and give an employee only the permissions for the job of which they work. Okay. So if you do have to add a user and you do not have a job permission added for them yet, let me get myself right out of the way for a second. You can click plus here to add a brand new one, or if it's one that's similar, say if you had like this manager and manager two, if you wanted a manager position but then you needed one with a little bit more permissions than what that one had, but all the same ones, you could always click on the manager, come down here, click duplicate the manager permission, and then rename it to say this manager two, and then just go and make any modifications in the permissions that you need to make. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and close this out. To add or to adjust a user, you click right here on users. And so right here are the users that we have in the system right now, just very generic. So we're going to go ahead and add a user just so you can kind of see the workflow from the start. So we're going to come down here to new item. And on first name, we just call this user Brian, last name Smith. Okay. Come on down, you can put their email, can kind of nickname email, date of birth if you want to, hire date, if they're terminated, termination date, filing status, and any kind of address information. But right here on edit assignments is where we would go. You click on this, show their last name in gray, and click on that. We have to add a location first. So we're going to add them to this location. The reason this is here is because, again, this is an enterprise level system. So you could have, if you do have multiple locations, you'd want to assign them to a specific location. If they do work multiple locations, you can assign them to multiple locations. So from right here, you can assign them a login code if you want to. It doesn't have to be 4 digits. I just use that. And then if you do have swipe cards, you can put in the number on the back of the card so they can log in that way. And if you do have a payroll integration, you can put a payroll ID here. But we're just going to do login code for now. And then once that's done, you can click on right here, which would be the name of your restaurant, and add job position. So we're going to say this person is a bartender. Okay. And right here's where you can put their pay rate in. And so whatever the pay rate is, 7.25, whatever the case may be. And if you did want to add a secondary job position, you could click here, back up on the name of your restaurant, add job position, and say they're going to be a host. And their pay rate could be, could be different. We're just, for example purpose, say it's $7.50. So as you can see here, if we click on bartender, sorry, let's uncheck that, check that. There's the pay rate for bartender. Uncheck that, check that. There's a pay rate for host, which is going to show up in your back of the house reporting. When you go to look at your payroll timesheets, then you'll be able to see how many hours they worked as a bartender and what the rate of pay was, and then as a host and what the rate of pay was. And so that's really it as far as adding a user. But I just want to back out of this. And let's say you want to go change an existing user. So we're going to jump back into users. Let's go to Brian Smith now. If you needed to make some changes, when you scroll down to the bottom, if you just need to change their login codes, for example, you could click on the name of your restaurant here, and it brings up that person with their login code, swipe code. You change it, click somewhere in the black here, and you click the X, you're done. Okay. If you did want to, let's go back here, Brian Smith's still there, did want to change their job positions, you could click here, or if you just want to change their pay rate, click on that, and there's the pay rate. If you didn't want to remove them as a bartender, you click on the bartender here and just remove job position. Are you sure? Yes. And so it's that easy. We can add that job position back if you like. But again, then you're going to need to put in that pay rate. Okay. And that's it, guys. Just real quick on how to add a user. If we can help you in any way, anything that, as we do these tutorials, any requests that you have on videos that you would like to see, just feel free to reach out to us. Click on the link above. Be happy to help you. Till next time, y'all have a good day.